Welcome to Straight Outta Savannah. I am super excited. My guest, my sister, Maggie Tang is here, and she is coming back again. She is, what is this, your second time? Second time. So I'm so excited. She's going to talk about gene keys and 2027 human design prediction.
Yes.
Maggie, tell the people who you are and how you can help them.
Yes. Hello, I am Maggie. If this is your first time meeting me, you're at the right place. Make sure to go back and watch the very first episode about human design. What I do is I call myself a spiritual wellness therapist. And under that umbrella, what I offer is if you know your exact birth date and birth time and birth city, I can generate a human design birth chart, your human design and your gene keys birth chart to really look at your conscious self, your subconscious self. We reincarnate hundreds and thousands of lifetimes that we all have karmic accumulations that tends to hold us back, or we're naturally born with some gifts that, depending on how we grow up, we may never be able to even acknowledge them. And Gene Keys more specifically talks about the current shift in the universe because both human design and Gene Keys follows a 400-year cycle, which really is what this episode is about. Now, besides running the birth charts, I am a certified chakra sound healing practitioner. I'm a Reiki master. And what I am starting to establish is more of like a traditional therapy session where I want to hear what is not flowing well in your life. I want to know what are the patterns that keeps coming back and you don't know how to break it and or don't know what to do with it, even if you notice the pattern. From my intuitive, energetic work from Gene Key's human design, I guarantee that I will be able to offer some guidance and I can offer some pathways to really try something that we haven't done before. More specifically, if anyone realized the trauma that they either they inherited or they endured in this lifetime, there's so many ways to really heal that nervous system, to find that safety within who we are. And we don't need to constantly go to somebody for help, for validation, for reassurance. We don't need to go to technology to tell us, do we need to eat? Do we need to go to sleep? Do we need what kind of supplements? Everything about the work that I'm passionate about is really know thyself. If you know yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you will trust yourself so well that a lot of the negative emotions, it's all based off of lack, fear, that turns into attachment. We are attached to things because we don't believe we deserve it. We just don't believe it's possible. And once we develop the attachment, rather that be money, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, then it turns into control. Then we're controlling everything because we don't want things to change. And then the ego, the human ego, is going to eat off that control. And then we just turn into a monster. We turn into, let's make all the money in the world so that we can be in control. Let's have all the followers in the world so that we're important. The old energy is so much in the mental space. How are we being perceived? Do we have a little check mark next to our name? Do we have initials on our business card?
Yeah.
The new world is, you know who you are, and it doesn't matter if no one is responding at the moment. Everyone is going to go through this transformation process that, in short, everyone's going to go through a rising phoenix alchemy transformation. Having said that, we all have to burn into ashes a little bit so that we can be reborn. And that is like the key component to the 2027 prophecy.
Yes.
You can find me at yoga studios in North Seattle. I have public classes, Reiki classes. You can find me on Instagram, which is just Maggie_Tang, Tang. One very exciting thing that I am doing is I want to start hosting free healing circles for veterans. I'm a
Nice.
big heart for the people that gave so much for our country, that give so much for every single one of us, but yet they're not getting the resources and not getting the help. And VA can only do so much. If VA doesn't offer that, then they're at a loss. So I particularly this year, I want to start offering a lot of brand new things that are free to the public and really for anyone that has served in the military.
That is amazing, Maggie. I love that because I have a heart for the military because I was married to two veterans.
Not in the uniforms.
I was going to say I had two sons and now a grandson and probably a granddaughter shortly. But I love that the fact that you want to give back in that way because you're right. They had a lot of services at the VA, but right now the VA is overwhelmed because of all the cuts and stuff that they did and all the BS that they're going through. And I actually have a relative that works in that craziness. Yeah, I know
And
it's true.
PTSD and depression don't take a break. So a VA doesn't
Yeah,
have an appointment. So they literally are just suffering all day, every day.
that's right. And
And
the thing is, too, is I don't think a lot of times they even focus on the energetics of it. But let me ask you this question. Human design talks about a major energetic shift in 2027. How do you see that transition influencing the way women in midlife reclaim their spiritual authority?
I would say in the old energy, women are so intuitive to shift to keep peace.
Yeah.
We're all in survivor mode. So when there are these women in particular, we're sensitive. We know what needs to get done, but sometimes we just put our hands up or we shut our mouth because that is what everybody else wants, and that's where holding peace, keeping everyone else happy, we believe that is the right approach. So that also comes from, so in human design, we have a spleen energy center that it's all about how do we be safe, safe within ourselves, keeping the family safe, keeping our community safe. And a lot of that is, I better not do anything because I'm not given the authority to do, I'm not given the permission to do. So we rely on external authority, rely on external communities to decide what we should be offered, what's available to us. And the shift from 2027 is we're starting to realize, you know what? Holding peace is only causing internal war within our bodies. Yeah, holding peace or not speaking our truth, it is really creating chaos, which is why, and with the hormonal adjustments as we go through different age, now it's just volcanic eruption. And sometimes the family members aren't supportive. They're being blamed. Why are you so emotional? Why this and why that? Not only are they not being appreciated, they're actually being blamed the minute that they want to have their own voice, the minute that they want to start making changes. It's no, you used to keep your mouth shut the whole time. Why are you speaking now? So we are all going to feel the eruption. We are going to have all these feelings, especially if they're suppressed. We're going to have so much that are going to just emerge from within us. And then on a collective level, we are going to break down established institutions for that reason. Financial institutions or social institutions, school system, banking system, all of us are going to wake up and be like, that's not okay. That's not okay. And we can see that already. We can see all the people uniting together and starting to push away some of the things that are just shut up, do it because that's how it's always been done. No. And more specifically, women are going to feel that urge is collectively, generationally speaking, we are told that our life don't really matter as much.
That's right.
We don't have as much control. The important thing is to build a family, maybe have children, raise the children, leave the other stuff
For men.
to do it. Oh, like I see a lot of men being really great at home dads. I see a lot of men that can also take on more of the yin side, the feminine side of the energies. It's not about men against women. It's all about we can be both.
Right. And we can come together.
So I see women in different age group just suffer from a different, like the baby boomers, the Gen Zs and millennials, like everyone has a different timeline that, how they were raised. And so how their condition is slightly different.
Yes, it's absolutely right. Because you think about it, I can come from the lens of a Gen X. We were raised probably different than anybody else because we were the generation that came after the boomers, who most of the boomers, their mama stayed home. Their daddies worked, their mama stayed home if they were in a two-parent home. And there was a lot of that because people stayed together even though they probably shouldn't. But you had that element. And then for us, they gave us a key around our neck at 7. Like, come in the house, don't answer the phone, don't answer the door, keep your noise to a minimum. And this is how we came up. And so a lot of us, we did a lot of raising of ourselves. There was a lot of that. And that makes a difference when we go forward.
Yep.
Because for me, I feel like I grew up, I was about 9. Started taking care of a lot of people. I'm just taking care of people, taking care of people. And then I get into a field where, what am I doing? I'm taking care of people.
Yep.
And then you get to the point where you just burn out. Like for me, I don't even have a pet because I don't want to take care of nothing. Because people keep asking me, you guys have a dog? No. God, no. I have these. Yeah. They have
Yep.
no requirement.
Yep.
They don't need nothing.
Okay.
Babysitter. They don't need a babysitter. I don't have to leave them anywhere when I go. When I get better as they age, all I have to do is make sure that I cleanse them in the moon. So I'm like, no. And so I think about it from that lens. It's not, we just had different experiences. And even like my kids, they had different experiences than I did. One reason was because I had to cultivate that and I wanted them to have a different experience than I had. And so I cultivated that for them. My husband and I at the time, I worked night shift and he worked in the day. So our kids at that point didn't have to go to after school daycare, none of that kind of stuff. I was there. So you think about all of that. And then, like you said, all of the hormonal changes that we go through as women.
Yep.
And the thing about that is nobody talked about it. Like they're talking about it now, but nobody talked about it. And nobody told you that there were so many things and changes that you were going to go through that.
And then the symptoms, like now we're hearing like premenopause. That wasn't a thing before. Like you just go through menopause now. And the symptoms are coming up to women that are a lot younger. It's very challenging when it comes to if you want to feel like that personal empowerment, I can rely on myself and all that. But your body keeps reminding you like, oh no, you're actually aging. Your eggs are drying up. And like the guys don't go through that. The guys can be 80 years old and they can wake up and be like, oh, I can conquer the world.
De Niro and Al Pacino just had babies at like 7 cool. Not that I would want to do that at 80, but just saying.
Yeah, it's just all we're just so different in biology, and society really mold and shape women into, and our maternal instinct, we are easier to just like, okay, somehow our maternal instinct just make us more like, we can just look out for everybody. And then we'll just be taking care of the home, making sure the food's ready, the laundry's done and everything's done. But that is also creating like some children that's not appreciative. That's also creating some younger generation that they're not grateful, that they don't know how to express appreciation. And overall, I think across all age group, we are going through this pandemic of loneliness. We do feel like we don't know how to find a group that we can communicate with. Like you and I, we talk about, I don't have time to do small talk with anybody. I don't have any interest to do small talk.
No.
How do we were lucky that we found each other and then we have friends in our community. But to a lot of people, like they just don't know who to talk to unless they pay someone.
I was at a space and when we met, I was there because I was like, I got couple of people that I talked to that I met on Facebook and like my girlfriend that we both took the same Reiki class, but it was online and we never met in person, but we've been together about 10 years. But I had those, but I just didn't have people like in my area, not very many people that I could even have a good conversation with that didn't involve that small talk. Because what even is that? Like, no, I do small talk with people I don't really want to talk to, and we'll talk about the weather and shit.
Harvard, the barista at the coffee shop that I go to that's in my neighborhood. Oh, that's different. But yeah, the keywords that I see for this 2027 shift really is moving away from the collective agreements. Collectively, we all decided this is our voting system. This is the school system. This is how like the jurisdiction system. But moving forward, it's How do we have like smaller communities that we can have our own source of, we can rely on our own community to offer the help? I see family business coming back more so than larger corporations are going to be developed. I see less IPOs being formed, but I see communities, again, families coming together and say, we're doing this from now on. And it's with integrity, the right mindset. And it's not just about money.
And that's actually the space that it's time for us to get to. Yeah, I really believe that is here. And it's one of those things because people were talking about everything that's going on in the world and all this stuff. And I said, you have to sit back and look at it from a different perspective. You have to see that, yes, this thing is ridiculous in a lot of ways. However, there are changes that are being made that needed to be made. And maybe this was the only way that they could make them because before the election, I had dreamed. And so when the thing happened, I knew it was going to happen. I was excited as everybody else is about the other option, but I saw it. Like God showed it to me so that I could do what I did on the day that it happened. I got on TikTok and I prayed for people because I said, I'm not going to cry or any of that kind of stuff. I said, we're going to pray. I said, because even in the midst of darkness, God is still the light. And so that's what I did. I was trying to remember why I brought that up.
That's why every individual, every human being on the planet, regardless of age, we are going through a shift of emotional desire. Because the old energy is very about in the mental space. We need to go to school. We're very much science-based. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. I need to know, I need to see the formula. Is this going to make money? Yada. So everything used to be in such a mind space, and then therefore we decide what we're going to do. But moving forward, it's very much about what is your emotional desire? What is that emotional desire that becomes your awareness to pursue the things that you want? Because being truthful to your own desire is going to lead to the path. Lately, the human design or the Gene Keys reading that I'm doing is people already know. People are already on the right track. It's just that they are a little bit worried or they're not ready to really take it forward because it's just a little bit strange, but that's just something that I've always wanted to do, or they're ready to make such a huge shift. The family may not encourage that. The family may not welcome that for them to pursue their own voice or to pursue their own work, and then they feel stuck. So how do we acknowledge that is the inner truth, and how do we put on that armor, not to fight, but to really embrace? How are we going to unapologetically, like, I'm going to go after what I want for myself? And thinarchy is a word in Jinki that if every single human being is living in moral codes, following their own integrity, we don't need so many layers of police. We don't need so many layers of people that's constantly monitoring us. Everyone will be self-responsible, self-reliant,
And self-regulated.
exactly, self-regulated. My goal isn't to see someone forever. I really wanted to help you to see what is it that you want in life, and then I want to set you up for success.
So you want to be a catalyst in their next episode.
Exactly. Like the way that our insurance world, healthcare, insurance, that's the huge sector that obviously it's outdated, it's not working, it costs too much money, people are suffering. Medication should never cost this much money. The more that people seek medical help, the more stressed they become.
Yes.
It's counter effective. I just see, especially coming from Hong Kong, especially coming from seeing how healthcare works from a completely different country and then seeing how it works in the US. And my mind is just blown. I can't believe that the healthcare system in America.
The death care system.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not healthcare. It's death care.
it's when you're sick, we'll do something to suppress it. If there's symptoms, we'll respond to the symptoms. We're not really looking at the root cause.
No, we don't.
And
Because if you look at the root cause, how would the pharmaceuticals make their money?
exactly.
Because really that's what they do is, oh, take this. You're having this problem? Okay, we'll take this. We'll see if that works. And then come back and see me in a month.
And that's the same thing for pets. When I take my cats to the animal hospital, Not only do they prescribe medicines, but they give you all kinds of supplements that they may not even want to take. All kinds of stuff. Oh, they need this prebiotic, they need this probiotic, they need this and they need that.
I can't even take all those supplements. Matter of fact, I was just thinking, I was like, I needed to take them. Because I can't always remember to take all that stuff. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, they truly become salesmen of pharmaceutical companies. That's really
That's big business.
that's a big business, and that's why I see the faith in believing the system works is really collapsing because it really isn't.
We're having an awakening of faith.
Yes, education, financial system, healthcare. These are the three things that we all need, regardless of who is in your family. And three of them are just not. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
It is.
But on the positive side, there are all these new form of medicine. That's why I'm so much about holistic medicine. We can find everyone has their own energies and frequencies and vibrations that something works for some. Like everyone will find it.
Absolutely. Yes, because for me, I tell people, I said, now, like I take Flexeril for my back sometimes, but I can't take that stuff every day. If I take it every day, it won't work. I know that about my body, so I don't take it every day. I take it when I really need it, and that's it.
Yeah. That's another thing with Western medication. You build up a tolerance and then you have to keep taking more and more and more.
Then people don't even realize that you're like, I heard some lady tell me, she said, oh, I've been taking oxycodone for 20 years. I said, shit, it ain't working no more.
How is that person alive? I'm surprised.
Girl,
It to damage the nervous system, the lymphatic system.
they'll give it to people, especially that don't look like you or I. So they just give it. I walk in, they tell me, oh, we can't give you any opioids. I'm not asking you for any. Okay. You can't give me any, but she's been taking them for 20 years. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. Let me ask you one more question in regards to this. If spiritual authority is a new currency of consciousness, practices or awarenesses do you believe prepare us to embody that before 2027 arrives?
I would say something that is so underrated or something that I still don't see people are doing is truly spend some time in solitude. Really spending some time in solitude, being able to really say, you know what, the husband can feed himself. I see a lot of people, they want to, but then somehow either subconsciously they're not really ready for it, or their surroundings guilt them or shame them into wanting to pursue that personal time, that freedom, that alone time.
Yes.
I truly believe anyone that spends some time in nature and grounding exercise is a really good way to really allow, I believe Gaia has its own consciousness. We all have spirit guides. We all have ancestors that are constantly watching over us. I believe that there are angels that are ready to intervene, but we have to ask. We have to communicate. We have to express what is it that we want. Spirit guides don't create great things for you just because you're a good human being, you have good intentions. You have to ask.
What I like to say is closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, I also see a lot of good people. They were raised to say, you know what, you don't deserve it. You shouldn't ask for it. No, you and I are more like, I deserve all the best things in the world.
This is, I'm going to go ahead and do my shameless plug. It's just like the workshop that I'm doing tomorrow. It's all about permission revoked, because we have been conditioned to think that we have to ask for permission to even have solitude. So we're by ourselves doing what we need to do. We have been conditioned. And I can say this from somebody that knew that was a conditioning. Because even today, even now in this season, I had to tell myself, you can do this. You don't have to ask anybody just to be able to sit by yourself in solitude. I try to sit with my ancestors and stuff and my team and whatnot, that you don't have to ask anybody. But if you're doing it and you feel like, hey, maybe I'm going to be missed by my kids, or maybe I'm going to be missed by my husband if I go and take this time for myself. And so I'm doing this workshop to help people to understand that it's time to revoke that permission. It's time, because we have been Who they did a number on us. They did a number on us women. And so we had these times where you couldn't even buy property and all that stuff. But she was a professor at the school and she was trying to do things and she always had to go through her husband. Anything she wanted to do, she had to go through him. And they would always look at him first, even though she was the one that was brilliant. And so anyway, when they went to this time, the girl that was her student was over the school by this time. But this is 50 years or something in the future, or 60 years in the future. And so the lady, they're supposed to get back in the time machine and go back to their time. I decides that he wants to go back to their time, but she said no, because in this time, she's free.
I can go to places by myself.
I don't need a man's covering and all this stuff. I can own my own property. I can buy my own house. And that, to me, that was such a perfect example of women having to have permission. And that she's come forward and she's evolved into this other time. So she stayed in that time. But she's like, no. And I'm like, that is so awesome. When I sat down and thought of it, I was like, that is exactly what we're talking about. We can have our own sovereignty.
Yeah. I also notice young mothers or new mothers, they lose their identity. They completely put themselves in the back seat. And a lot is there is not even a conscious effort. It could be a lot of subconscious guilt, a lot of subconscious shame, or they are traumatized by their own upbringing, by their own parents. So they want to do the completely opposite to be there and available for their children.
Yeah.
But
in
also, that's not good. That's not a healthy relationship when someone just constantly giving, providing. One big topic about this 2027 shift is not only are we shifting away from being such a highly just mental being, I believe we are migrating into multisensory beings. We think about, oh, maybe we're able to like telepathic skills. Maybe some people can see things. Maybe some people can. A lot of things are just stuck in this brain space. Can we see into the future? Can we hear what people are saying, whatnot? And I'm not saying these are actual. That's just what the mindset is, what spirituality or channel. Right. All parts of our human body, all parts of our energy centers, all of our chakras are able to process information and intuitively pick up so many things, from nature to people to the world. There's so much to answer your question. Not only do we need to spend that time in solitude, but we truly need to spend that time into developing those skills. Once we realize, oh, I'm really good at, like, for example, in human design, you can have a specific gate or channel just to be in someone's presence, and then their aroma, like you can smell, everybody has a scent. When you smell, you're actually breathing in their energy, and that is processing information. So all of our sensories are part of, it's a mediumship. We can, just like us energy healers, we can scan information with our hands, but so many of our body parts can do that. And it takes time to develop. It takes times to practice. It takes times for you to be sure, oh, I know what this is. I can tell that I can do it. And then slowly practice to build up that confidence. And then so that we know that if our gut tells us yes or no, we can trust it. Let's go back to the brain and go, based on the data or based on statistics, no, trust your body.
Yes.
And that's why we see so many children born that are autistic or in a spectrum. It's because they have gifts that we don't even know yet.
It came to me one day and I was like, it's like those children are gifted.
They are gifted.
And they don't even know how to process that shit.
Yep. They are already evolved with the new energy that they have consciousness built within them. They have a different structure, that their energy feels that we are just too dumb to develop it for them. The school system is just so outdated. So now they put them in the special kids. But,
if you think about it, they really are special kids.
They are special
in the way that they talk about.
But instead of being like treasured, they're being treated like
emphasized.
They're going to be conditioned as they grow up into teenagers or to be young adults. They're going to be conditioned to feel that they're outcasts. We're not normal, and they may suppress the natural gifts that they're born with.
I agree 100%. Who to land this plane? I have one question that I ask all my guests, and I asked you the last time as well. But what if there was anything in the world that you could change, what would that be and why?
I remember last time my answer was the borders. We're one country, we're one world. Just the fact that we have different countries and needing passport was ridiculous. I would say
Yeah, because
this is a year later. If there's one thing that I can change is I wish more people cannot take themselves so seriously. Again, it's all the trauma speaking. It's all the fear. It's all the repression, or it's all that really that's really causing the fear. We don't have to be so serious about everything. Try it out. It's okay to look like a fool. It's okay to say, I don't really know what it is. I'm just going to try it. I don't really know what's going to happen at the end, but I'm curious. Let the curiosity take you to places where you've never gone before. No insistence, because quote Shah's quote, insistence equals resistance. If we're so insistent on anything, what it needs to look like, what it needs to mean, what the outcome needs to look like, we're actually resisting to create the world that we are in full control of.
it's another level of self-sabotage.
So don't be so serious. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if we don't look the part? Who cares if we don't speak the perfect language? Who cares if I'm not ChatGPT perfection in writing stuff? It's who cares? And then once we can not care about how people look at us and not take ourselves so seriously, everything will change. Everything will change.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think that's a good one. I haven't had that one before. But I think that's a good one because we do. We take ourselves so seriously and it's just a shame.
Oh,
That's
seriously.
why I love humor. I love to laugh. And I think that if we bring that back, like fun in the world,
Yes.
it's so heavy right now.
It kills me to see 18-year-olds worry about Botox. It kills me to see how young people worry so much about how the world sees them, how the world is judging them. So therefore, they must be a certain way or look a certain way or act a certain way. Don't be so serious about anything. Who cares about what they feel?
A lot of times they're not kids. Like they don't have a childhood.
Yeah.
Because people just, I don't understand that, but they don't have a childhood. Because people just pull them into all of this adult stuff that they don't even really need to be dealing with.
Exactly. Exactly. I worry about that. It's like if you're pushing yourself at this speed and this hard on yourself when you're 20, 21, it's like
You're gonna burn out.
your 40s or yeah.
Burn out.
Yeah. Life is short, but yet it's also very long and dreadful if we don't love ourselves.
And to me, this is something they need to be teaching in school.
Yeah.
Or parents need to teach it because I taught my kids a lot of stuff that wasn't in school. But somebody needs to be teaching it to these kids. Let's get that together because you go through life like that. And then next thing you know, they're 35 and they jumping off a building. I think that is a part of that generational shift as well. Because we as Gen X's, we think that some of our kids are they're just weak. They're just weak because they can't take nothing. But then again, we say, well, because we could take so much,
Yeah.
we expect them to be able to take so much, but we raise them softer.
They're also raised by algorithms that pleases them in all shapes and form 24/7. You and I can grow up with our parents catering to us. Kids can build so many platforms and then algorithm AI is going to give them their perfect friend, is going to give them their perfect answer. Everything is designed to soothe and satisfy them in a way that reality is going to suck. It's always.
I said that about those participation trophies. You remember that? Throwing play sports and you didn't win or anything like that, but you get a damn participation trophy.
A for effort.
Like, fuck that. Oh, somebody has to win and somebody has to fucking lose. That is the nature of the game. And if you're not the one to win, then you lost, but you should still celebrate the people that won.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't get a trophy just for being there. To me, that's just, oh, goodness gracious. No, when they lose, they lose their damn mind. Because they never, you know what I'm saying? Because they might have played all their life and always got these participation trophies.
And that's also why suicidal age is going lower and lower. It's because they just don't see how this world is gentle and kind to them. All they're seeing is their AI best friend is being so kind. Their AI girlfriend, boyfriend, it's, oh, you're real. And that's actually one of my biggest concern for them. My biggest concern is how little love that they feel. And then when they do feel it, it's from something that's artificial.
And on that note, thank you so much for joining me, Maggie, today. And thank you for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. We are having these amazing conversations with my beautiful spiritual entrepreneurs around spiritual authority and midlife reinvention. So if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you would like to come on the show, just let me know. Send a message wherever you see this, and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe wherever you're watching.
And hopefully I will see you before 2027. I know that there's also so much hope. There's also so much community that's being built. Souls are bonding. I do see a new world. It's coming together where like we just have to have an open mind. We have to have an open mind. And it ties back to just don't take everything too seriously. Otherwise, our mind can't be open.
And it really is. We are in an awakening of faith. And I'm excited to see it, because you know what faith is. It's believing in something you can't see.
Yeah.
When you think about it, the Bible says it like it's the evidence of the things hoped for but not seen. So when you think about it in that way, it's that time, because people need to be able to have some hope.
Yeah.
I see people all the time and I talk to them, and so many people are so hopeless. And I'm like, I said, we've been here before. We actually have been through this before. I said, the older ones, I said, y'all remember Reagan. I said, he dismantled so much in America, so many things, the whole mental health system. He crashed all of that, unions and stuff. I don't want to talk politics, but I said, we've been here before, and there's other times that we've seen things done as well in other different administrations. And then for those of us that are of color, we've seen lots of this before. Most of us grew up with this type of stuff. I remember busing. I remember being bused an hour and a half bus ride from my house at 5 years old to go to school. We've seen a lot of things. I've seen the white and the colored fountains and stuff. I remember seeing it. And so I think about it in that way. And then so many other experiences, I'm not negating anybody's experience, but so many other experiences that people have had with foolishness in this land. So when I think about that, it gives me hope, because we made it through that. We will make it through this. And it's just, to me, it's beautiful when you get there. And so my thing is, I try to help people to get there that I see. I say, it's not that bad.
At the end of the day, like the younger generation truly is our future.
I'm excited to see them. When I see them come out and speak, I mean, we're future president.
So mature. They're so mature, like the responsibilities that they have, the life that they want to pursue. Anytime I even see a baby, I would say, wow, you're such a brave soul that you want to incarnate into this world at this time.
Exactly. I agree 100%. And I also feel like some of the people that have left us, we would say prematurely, but I believe that some of the people that have left us some of them contract was up, okay? Some of their contract was up and they knew it. Others of them, I believe that they were too tender to be in this world. I believe that they're better served at the time that they left with spirit. And I believe that is so much in this world that they couldn't handle.
Yeah. Or they may need to reincarnate into a new baby so that they can be like, oh, they're so passionate that they wanted to come back for a second round. So they want to be born as a new baby. Kudos to them.
I'm telling you, my son, his son is in cancer. He was 9 years old, and we were actually standing in a circle and praying, because that's what we used to do as a family. We would get in a circle and pray. So we were in the circle praying. And so everybody's got their eyes closed. We're praying and all that. And so then we started doing what I realized now were affirmations. So we started speaking, using our words. And so I was doing that. And finally, my son says, oh, and we said, what? He said, I finally know what I'm supposed to do. He's 9 years old. And I'm supposed to be a minister. 9 years old.
Wow.
And I said to myself, I said, wow. And I always knew he was an old soul, but I was like, me and my husband looked at each other, finally. Oh, what do you mean? You're not at me. How long were you trying to figure that out? But I realized that he was speaking from that space where he was a continued being. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I got to remind him of that. But it was just amazing when I thought back on that because he was so excited about it.
Yeah.
I finally know what I'm supposed to be. And we were like, finally, okay.
And all of us chose a mission to accomplish in life that it's never just one lifetime. We keep doing it again and again. And then as time change, we come back and then we do it in a different way. So that's why that essence, the flavor, it's all within us. What are we here to do? What is our purpose? It's all an accumulative it's a karmic cocktail. It's really about, are we willing to listen? Are we really willing to listen and then accept? Once we listen, once we accept, and then we can really go out, the universe will really change. It's the old energy living in that mental space is creating a prison.
Yeah, I agree.
And the less serious, the less insistence on what anything needs to be truly is let our curiosity, let creativity really create a brand new world that we can all just enjoy.
Then I just got a vision of the Wiz. Sometimes it was this time there was like, yeah, brand new. And I was like, as soon as you were saying that, that was the vision that came.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is.
Right. Our planet is beautiful. People are beautiful. There's so many beauty everywhere that we just don't see, we don't acknowledge. Yet we're all in survivor mode. We're not sure. And no, like we have to bond. We have to love each other. We have a lot of ways to go. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that 2027, we do a forest bathing one time and then poof, we can go on with our lives. Another reason why this 2026 is the year that we have to clear the skeletons in the closet.
And that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. Because it was so many things. And it's who we could talk all day. It's so many things.
I know.
Well,
So
but
we clear everything and then 2027 comes is really where we take on running. We just starting to build. And now it's like a home remodel. We have to tear down the old structure.
Yes, absolutely.
And then next year we build
this space that we stopped at because that is what people need to hear. I hope y'all are listening and I hope everybody was able to hear that. But definitely, Maggie, this is the space and I'm so grateful that you came today. So grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I always enjoyed spending time with you because you make me laugh. And again, laughter, it's the biggest serotonin release. It's going to make us feel better.
And we laugh more. I think that would be like so great.
Yeah.
I told somebody, I said, we should have a laugh-a-thon.
Yeah.
I actually told my husband, I said, I think you missed your calling. I said, you need to be on the stage. So it's on jokes. Because he is so funny. And I'm like, and he's, babe, you're funny. I'm like, no, not as funny as you. I said, you are hilarious. I said, because he'll tell a joke and it's so dry. If you won't expect it either, and you know how he is, people don't expect, him to tell jokes. But he does. He'll tell a joke and it's so dry. You're like, you can't even stop. You just got to laugh.
Okay, so if anyone is listening or watching this podcast and have event space or want to bring us funny ladies to have a spiritual talk, contact us. We're open. We love to do a show, a presentation. We love to just get together. Yes, technology is great. We're hours away from each other. We can connect this way. But in reality, like I would love to be able to host an in-person event. Like
we're in Washington State, so we're in Western Washington. We're not going to the East. We're not doing all that.
We're just setting the intention out there again with no insistence what it needs to look like, but that's the intention, to have some in-person event and really bond and share our own stories. With everyone that's going through pain and suffering, everybody. I don't care if you're the richest man's wife. I don't care It doesn't matter. We all have our own pain and suffering.
Yes, we do. So again, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. Maggie has been amazing. She will have her information in the show notes. So you'll have a way to contact her and connect with her because she is phenomenal at what she does. The human design and the gene key, she did one for me and it was phenomenal. I learned so much about myself, which is really the key. So this is another area and another aspect that you should know yourself. So Maggie, so excited. I thank you so much for coming and thank y'all for watching or listening, wherever you're listening. And make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And if you have a question or anything, you can always respond wherever you're listening or watching. Thank you so much.